Hey guys, it's me Ren, and in today's video, I'm going to be explaining my principles of building wealth. And it's basically explained in 3 simple steps in an acronym called SIM, S-I-M. And I'm going to be explaining exactly how this works. If we break down investing and building wealth, we can break it down into 3 steps. S stands for saving. And saving is the base of becoming wealthy and learning to invest. If you can't save money, you will not have anything to invest later down the line. If you can't hold on to any money, you obviously won't have any financial stability. If the second you get $20, you go and spend it on a new video game or clothes, you're never going to build wealth because you will never be able to hold anything. If you don't know how to save money, that's the first thing you should be focusing on, is tricking your brain into holding your money and not spending it on crazy things. You need to be able to spend money on needs instead of wants. This one sounds very, very simple, but in my opinion, this is the step that the most people get stuck on. Because no matter how much money they're making from their job, um, they keep on spending money as if they're rich. If you can't save the money you are earning, you're not going to get to that next step of wealth because you're never going to be satisfied. If I'm making 10 bucks an hour and I spend all that money so easily, it doesn't matter. It could be the same thing. If you make $50 an hour, someone who makes $10 an hour and saves better than you might be more wealthy than you. That is just the truth. Here's a real life example of this. I am 15 years old and I am a babysitter. That's my job. I make $70 a week from babysitting, and I only get to babysit once a week. I have other friends in my life who have an actual job where they work at a fast food place and they make $10 an hour and they are able to work 14, 15, maybe even 16 hours per week. So they are making double my income, but I actually have way more money than them because most of the time, right when they get their paycheck, they go out and party with friends, spend their money getting fast food, buy new shoes, whatever that may be. And they always just say, well, what I'm buying is only $5. Well, what I'm buying is only $10. But that really does add up. So in this case, I am actually more wealthy than some of those kids who have way better paying jobs than I do. Now we're on to I in the acronym. I is for investing. Once you know how to save money, you need to figure out how to grow your money. Whether that's parking your money in stocks, buying silver and gold, buying real estate, it doesn't matter. If you are buying something that can increase your money, that is investing. But once you have learned how to save, you need to start investing your money. If you really want to become wealthy, you can't just have your money sitting in a bank account or sitting doing nothing. You have to get your money to work for you. The current annual inflation rate is 3.5%, meaning every year the dollar decreases in value by 3.5%. So if your money is just sitting around and you are making less than 3.5%, that means you are actually losing money year after year. So if you are not making at least 3.5% on your investments, then you are losing wealth instead of gaining wealth. And at that point, saving is not going to help you. This is why investing is key. Because if you're investing and you're beating inflation, that means you're way ahead of a lot of people. And that means you are actually building wealth. Investing is one of those things that can be really, really stressful when you get into it. But once you've got into it, even if you are just an intermediate investor, you can make enough money to live a comfortable life. And you can make enough money in investing to beat inflation, even if you are an intermediate investor. You do not have to be a pro to make that much money. I started investing in the stock market when I was 8 years old. When I had about a year and a half of experience in the stock market, I was confident that I could make money with stocks. You don't have to spend your whole life majoring in finance to be an investor. You can be an investor as an average everyday person. You just need to get yourself to a point where you're confident that you can make over 3.5%. The more you can make, obviously, will make it better because you're going to be able to build wealth quicker if you can make 10% on your investments, 25%, 50%, whatever it may be. The more percent you are able to return on your investments, you will be able to build wealth faster. The M in my acronym stands for maintaining or maintenance. You need to be able to maintain your wealth. We can break this down into two parts. Maintaining your wealth for your own generation or for yourself, and then maintaining your wealth after you die or after your life is over, for your family or whoever it may be. So maintaining your wealth kind of consists of a few things. One of the big ones is making sure you don't live outside of your means. So to maintain your wealth means spending as little money as possible, because if you are spending more money than you can, you're not going to be able to keep your wealth. The point of maintaining your wealth is to once you reach the status of millionaire or billionaire or whatever it may be, you want to stay at that status. You don't want to restart your wealth building. A lot of people in their lifetime have had enough money to buy a Lamborghini or a really nice supercar. The reason that they haven't, though, is because buying a Lamborghini raises your costs of living by a lot, because your insurance goes up by a lot. The parts for a Lamborghini, if you needed to fix the car, are super expensive. The gas is premium gas, which costs more money. And here's the issue. If you buy a Lamborghini right when you have enough money for it, you won't be able to maintain that level of paying for the Lamborghini. That is an example of maintenance, where you need to maintain something. Maintaining a super expensive car is super expensive. If you can't pay for your supercar's expenses or fix the car, it's gonna cause a lot of stress. Either you won't be able to enjoy the car because you can't drive it because it's broken, or you might have to sell the car because you accidentally bit off way more than you can chew. That is the same principle that happens with wealth. If you cannot maintain your wealth, it'll end up being super stressful, and you won't even be able to enjoy the wealth you built up because you have so many bills to pay, or you just are losing wealth 24/7, and it's just a money pit, right? And you live in a way that is not fun for you because you're focused on, oh my gosh, I could lose everything at any point. So when you're building up, make sure you can maintain whatever wealth you have. Well, the second part of maintenance for wealth is being able to pass things down to the next generation. And the reason this is important is because a lot of the billionaires and elite millionaires and like all these really, really successful people, that success has been building for generations and generations. There was always a starting point for wealth, right? But a lot of these people have gotten stuff for free from their parents or from their grandparents or from their great grandparents. If you are building wealth, make sure you plan for when you die, because you could give your kids the ability to not have to worry as much about life because they have some of your wealth. But you have to make sure you teach the next generation so that they can keep it going. If you give your kids $1 million and they have no idea anything about money, they will just go and spend the money immediately, and the wealth that you built in your generation could just be gone like that in the next generation. Once you're gone, your wealth will be gone because whoever you pass it down to is going to spend it like a maniac and they don't know what they're doing. But let's say I have kids in the future and I want to pass my wealth down to my kids. I'm going to teach my kids about how to invest and how to save money so that when I pass down my money to my kids, they'll be able to have it and grow the wealth even more. Because let's say I started with nothing. I was the person who started the wealth in my family. If you are the person who started the wealth, you won't get as far as the next generation, because the next generation will have more to build wealth with. Let's say I become a millionaire. When I die, I pass $1 million down to my kids. My kids, they don't start at zero. They start at 1 million, which is a lot. So if those kids are trained and able to invest better, they can turn that million into 10 million. And then the next generation, when my kids die, or my great grandkids are now into the world of investing, they get to start with $10 million, and it goes so on and so forth. And that is how some families are extremely rich. There are some very rich and wealthy people out there, but it's because they were smart all the way. So the second part of maintaining your wealth is, what are you going to do when you die or when the wealth needs to transfer to someone else? Because you can have a family that is infinitely rich if everybody in that family is super smart about their money. It can just keep going and going and going, and the wealth gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That is the key to wealth right there, is just being able to pass your wealth down all the time. I'm going to just give you a recap. It's SIM, S-I-M. S for saving, I for investing, and M for maintaining. All of those are the basics of building wealth. Everything fits into those three principles: saving, investing, and then maintaining. That's it. It's as simple as that to become wealthy. Now, the reason that everybody isn't wealthy in the world is because either people didn't learn how to invest, they didn't learn how to save, or they weren't consistent enough. They just didn't decide to do it. The only way you are going to become wealthy or rich is by working hard and making it happen. You can't just save money and expect yourself to become rich. That won't happen. You can't just invest money and decide you're going to be rich. That won't happen. Because even if you invest, if you can't save the money, you'll lose it all. So you have to build yourself on these principles and kind of build yourself a little pyramid so that all of these parts of the pyramid are strong, so that your wealth doesn't just tip over and crumble. This is a video that if you forget these simple topics and simple principles, you can come back to the video and look at them again so that you can remember them. The basics are always expanding. When you play a sport, you learn how to throw and catch a ball. And then, once you're better at the basics, you learn how to expand and learn specific plays, like how to run a route as a receiver in football, to catch a ball and score a touchdown. That's the same thing with finance. You start with the basics and then you expand from there. Once your basics get better, you can become better at investing, better at saving, better at maintaining. And it just always grows and grows and grows. So if there's something I missed, please comment it down below and we can help each other learn. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and share this video with all of your friends so they can learn what you just learned. And I'll see you guys all on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. This is where I disappear.